of support. All right. All the support that we use in printing. Basically, the basic one, which is the paper, would be exhausted today. But before then, we would look at a bit of other digital printing processes. That is what we'll be looking at. So permit me to start the lesson by sharing my screen with you. So Unit 2 is another interesting, very interesting, but also quite, sophisticated concept. And we are going to look at, under Unit 2, we are going to look at 6 sections, another 6 sections in Unit 2. So the Unit 2, we are going to look at digital printing and industrial printing support. We have heard of support. All right. And you all tell me that supports are surfaces that we print on. So after looking at the electronic printing, processes, there is a need for us to get a support so that we can use it to print. Is that not so? That is it. So we would, in this unit, we'll be looking at the digital printing processes. We'll be looking at types and sizes of papers. That is fantastic. So that you get to know the reason why I told you that we don't have any paper called, A4 sheet. All right. So you get to know the types and sizes of papers, preferably, a bond paper. So we are going to also look at the historical development of paper. And as I said, that one is a literature. So we are going to read on that. That is the historical development of paper. Then we are going to look, which is why we are going to close a bit early, so that you can have ample time to, review section 3. Then we'll be looking at manual paper manufacturing process, how we manufacture paper manually. Of course, today we don't see it happening. I don't think someone will spend their precious time and say they are now going to manufacture paper. Now we are not in the archaic era. We are not in the antiquated era. We are in the modern era. But it's good for us to know, the manufacturing processes that are involved in the manual, in the manual paper, manufacturing process. And so we are also going to look at the 5th section that is about industrial paper manufacturing process. That one, we need to appreciate it, that is what is happening. So we need to possibly get understanding of how they manufacture paper, through the mechanical and the modern ways. So that's what we are going to look at. So I wish all of us the best as we start today's lesson. And as usual, someone is going to read. Let's set the ball rolling. Someone, the first person, should be able to read for us to digest whatever is here. But earlier on, I have placed, a video about 3 videos and a picture on your page for you to watch and peruse, so that it will give you, an idea on what we would be doing. Okay, isn't someone is, yeah, Ebenezer, kindly mute yourself. Ebenezer, kindly mute yourself. All right, thank you. So that is what we would be doing today. Who is starting? Who is
So I'll
starting? We
start,
want to
please.
start with.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Someone said he will start. That is wonderful.
Okay.
So we want to know the one who is starting with us today.
Emmanuel J. Emmanuel J.
Okay, Emmanuel.
Okay.
Emmanuel J. Emmanuel J. will do that. So digital printing processes.
Dear
Digital
Lena,
print.
this
No, let's forget about that and just go on to the digital printing machines. Let's go.
okay. Apart from electronic and mechanical printing machines, different types of digital machines have been invented that can print or wave on different substrates. Following are some examples.
All right. So
Heat
all that we are saying
transfer
is that
printing.
it's okay. It's okay. All that we are saying is that so after possibly every paragraph, you would pause for me to explain the concept to you. So we have had a chance to look at xerography. We have had a chance to look at lithography. We have had a chance to look at other means of printing. Okay. So apart from that, in the advent of technology, the wizardry of technology has made it possible for us to, invent more, digital machines that we use to print. Okay. So we want to look at these digital machines, other digital machines that was invented and that can be used to print and or weave on surfaces. So the surfaces are many. It could be paper, it can be plastic, it can be a fabric, it can be glass, it can be ceramic, anything. So we want to look at those ones today briefly. So the first one to talk about under the digital printing machine is the heat press machine or heat press printing. Okay, heat press. Another name for the heat press is heat transfer printing. So we say that heat press or heat transfer printing. That is another name. Shall we look at heat press printing quickly?
Heat transfer printing. Different types are available and some are manually operated, others are digitally operated. Some are used to transfer designs onto fabrics and leather, and others are designed to transfer designs round objects such as plastic and ceramic marks, glass cups, etc. The machine consists of a printing board and a transfer iron, also called heating iron. The digital or automatic heat transfer machine has an air blower which blows the printing material against the transfer iron when the machine is operated to print.
Great. So we have heat transfer printing. That's another way of printing on substrates such as plastic, fabric, ceramics, glass, leather, many more, many more. In today's world, we have been seeing it. We go to wedding ceremonies, funerals, and whatever, and they share some paraphernalia. They give us some paraphernalia in the form of key holders, in the form of mugs. That is the one we use to drink water, what you call cup, but the ceramic one is called mugs, M-U-G. And you realize that they have a print on it. How did they come about? We also wear some t-shirts, very beautiful t-shirts, well, printed, that looks very, very pleasing. Okay, so there is a method that we use to do this one, which is the heat transfer printing. So the heat transfer printing, you know, you can use the manual way of doing it. Okay, I have, you know, when we were not having the automated heat transfer machine or the digital heat transfer machine, okay, I was using iron, just iron to bring about my piece. All that you need to get is to get your paper. So we have heat transfer papers. So the heat transfer papers are basically two. We have the opaque and we have the transparent. So when you go and get your heat transfer paper, all right, which is in the A4 size, some are even more than A4 size. Then you print your design on it in reverse. So once you print your design on it in reverse, you place it on the substrate that you want to transfer that design on. So after placing it on it, you need to lay a printing table covered with blankets and a piece of cloth. Okay, then you put your t-shirt on it. Then you place your heat transfer paper, that is the image carrier having the design. Then you iron it from the back. Once you iron it, then you wait for some few minutes for it to cool down. Then you peel. Once you peel the paper, you see the transferred design onto the material or the t-shirt. That is what and how we were doing it until we had the heat transfer, you know, machine. So the heat transfer machine, you know, has come, and let's quickly watch how the heat transfer this thing, you know, works. Heat transfer machine work. So we have the multi-purpose one. You can get one particular one that is only for t-shirts, and we have the multi-purpose one. The multi-purpose one is for t-shirt, is for cap that we wear, is for masks, is for you know, about masks, t-shirts, cap, plate, you know, and other surfaces that you think you can print on. Okay, so quickly let's watch this thing on heat transfer and see how it goes. Let's quickly watch it. Multi-purpose heat transfer. So this one is the heat transfer machine. This is the heat transfer machine. And so the heat transfer machine, this is the multi-purpose one, multi-purpose. So having other accessories. These are the other accessories. Okay, this is the main machine. Okay. So if you want to, this is for the one on it right now is for printing of materials. All right. Materials. That is for t-shirts and co. If you want to change it, you can now change it to others. This is for this one is for, this particular one is for cap. This particular one is for cap. And the cap like this. Then this one is for marks. This one is for marks. This one, okay, is for marks. Then the last one is for plate. Okay, so that is 5A1. So let's quickly watch a video on the how it works quickly, briefly. Then we move on. Though I've already asked you to whatever. So this is how it goes. Let's watch. So this is the machine. This is the 3A1. They are unboxing it. All right. So inside the machine, or inside the box, we have the manual for reading. We have PEP, press mode, we have the plates. Press mode, we have the mat, right, and the heat transfer plates for dishes. So you can see this is for the first one that has been taken. Is for the accessories. So this is the main machine. Okay, so you need to fix the accessories. So you can see me fixing the accessories. That's the nature of the machine. Where you connect it to the power source. Where it's connected to the power source. Then you have the switch for on and off. Where you set your temperature. Set the temperature and the time that you want it to finish printing. So you can see the operator setting the temperature and the time for the print. Then you have to select the mode. Which one would you? So you have to select the mode. So this one is for t-shirt. So then you place your transfer paper. All right, that is the transparent. This is the transparent one. This is the transparent, and that's the transparent heat transfer paper. You can see that the background, the negative areas are all equally transparent. That's why we call it transparent. Okay. This is also it is also the DTF, right? So after pressing it, you hear a beeping sound to tell that you are done. You wait for a while, then you peel. Wait for a while, then you peel. Then you have your print nicely done. So most of you can venture into it. It's a very lucrative, very lucrative, venture that you can all go into. If you are not a good designer, you can employ someone, right, to design for you, so that you can use it to buy the machine. We're setting another mode. Then this mode is for plates. We're setting it up. Setting it up. Connecting it to the power. Select it. Select the mode first, that is for plate. And set your temperature. So you put your plate or your design inside your plate. You can see we're fixing the design into the plate. Then you press it and wait for the timer to beep. All right. You wait for it to cool down a bit. Then you peel. The essence of making it cool down is so that the print would come out clearly. It will not peel off onto the paper. If it doesn't cool down, it will peel off. So that is for the plate. Now let's go to the mag one. So it's still connected. We connect it to the control box. That is the power. So you can see that it can shift according to the size of the mat. Select the mode and select your temperature. You put your design and then you wrap it around it. You make it stable by placing adhesive on it. So you can see the mat inside is getting heated up, very hot now. You allow it to cool down, then you peel. Yours is to peel and the design is on it. Ladies and gentlemen, you can seriously go into this. So now this is for the cut. This is for the cut. There is assembly. So the manual that is in the box will give you all the direction as to how to assemble it. You are now even learning it right here. You place your cup into the mold. You place your design on top of the cup. Don't forget the design is always on the heat transfer paper. The heat transfer paper can be transparent or opaque depending on the type of material you're using. The color of the material will determine whether you should use opaque or transparent. Your exhibitor. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all about the heat press or the heat transfer machine and the printing processes. So, that is that. So, looking at the operating system of the heat transfer paper, I will quickly go through it, so that my gentleman. Okay, don't worry. I wanted us to go very fast, but I've already given you the idea. So, please proceed for us. Operating system of heat transfer printing. Kindly go. Kindly go on.
Two major types of heat transfer papers were used: opaque backing material (OBM) and textile transfer copy (TTC). The OBM had slight adhesive coating at the back, and it is used to transfer designs onto colored material. The
Mm,
design is transferred with a temperature of 100 to 120 to 130 degrees Celsius, and the heating
mm.
time is 10 seconds.
All right, so let me explain this. Let me explain this. So I already indicated that we have the papers are basically two major types of papers. So we have the opaque. The opaque one, it's what will happen is that the opaque one is normally meant for black, black, materials, black materials. The reason is that there are some colors that when you print it on black material, it will not come out. Okay, for instance, you are printing blue, color blue on black surface. It will not show very well. Okay, if you use the transparent. So what will happen? The opaque, the paper will fuse into it, giving it a background. The paper will give it a background so that the blue can come out. Then when you look at the heat transfer paper, the transparent one, it is only the design that will come out. So we use the transparent one for white surfaces. That is the difference. So we have the opaque and the transparent. Another name for transparent is the tensor transfer copy. All right. So that is that. So I have already shown you that it has to be done onto a white material. Okay, that is the transparent into a white material, and the design. First, you have to design it. You design it so that you use a Corel Draw to design, or Photoshop to design, or Word, whichever software that you think, or you can just download a picture of your choice. Then you print it on the heat transfer paper in reverse. And so once you print it in reverse, you would transfer that onto this thing. If you are using the manual one, of course, if you don't have money to buy the machine, you can use the iron, but the iron will only be suitable for t-shirts. Okay, you may not get very good impression on surfaces like mag and plate. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so that is all about this one, and we have the machines over here for us to look at. Now let's look at the DTF. DTF. The DTF2 is a machine on its own. Okay, so let's look at it. So I have DTF over here to also show you that is DTF, direct to film. Now let's look at the direct to film. So the heat
Hi
transfer
everyone and welcome back to my
is
channel. In today's
of
video,
print
I'm excited
process,
to show you my new
and
DTF printer
the
from
DTF
Sonic.
is a printer.
DTF
It's a
machine
printer.
isn't just for like
At
t-shirt
the
prints, it
same
can
time,
also be
it is
used in
used.
so many
You know,
creative
once you
ways,
print it
like
out,
tags and decals.
you use it
For like this
your printing.
example, I applied DTF to
Okay.
2 birth announcements. One is acrylic and one is wooden. And the process itself is super simple. I taped the DTF prints in place with the heat resistant tape, and then I pressed it with the heat press, let it fully cool, then peel, and that's it. And look how cute they turned out. And I also use DTF to create my branded tags for my handmade baby items shop. And it makes my products look more professional and complete. And I mean, just look how cute it all turned out. Like the
So,
best part,
so basically, the
DTF can also
DTF
become its
is
own
a printing
business.
method.
Even if you don't
Okay.
plan to use it
While the
just for
heat transfer
yourself, you can sell the ready to press DTF
press
prints
machine
or
is a
sheets
tool
of
that we
tags.
use in
or
printing.
to other makers. And before I
Um,
had my own machine, I
the
was buying them
DTF,
from someone else.
the
But
DTF
now
itself
I'm able to
involve
create everything in
printing a
house,
design
have
onto
my
a
own creative
special film. So
control,
you can see the
and it
film.
even opens the door
Okay.
for like an extra
Uh-huh.
income.
You can see the
One of the
film
best things about it
onto
is that
the
it comes
film,
mostly pre-assembled,
and then
and all you need to
using
do
a
is
heat press
attach
to
very
transfer it
few
onto
simple
a
parts.
fabric or any surface. So this is the DTF machine. This is the DTF machine. You can see how nice and beautiful it
Like
is.
the DTF roll holder and the front tray. The setup is super quick and also beginner friendly.
So
InkSonic does
let's quickly
include
look at
video
the difference
tutorials,
between
and it does
the
come with
the
this
DTF
printed
uh,
book manual, and it
the
has
the the
literally step by
DTF
step
direct to film
instructions with pictures.
printing method and that of the heat press machine. What's
All
the
you have to
difference?
do is literally follow the
When you look
book,
at it,
and
you realize
the
that
setup is super
you realize
quick
that
and
the
super easy.
DTF
You could also
is a
watch the video
printing
tutorial.
process, okay,
Anyway,
that
so after
use film,
installing just the
okay,
DTF roll holder
and
and the front tray,
heat
you will move on to the
press
ink, and you would
machine
just pour all the inks
or
into its
it's
designated colors. They cannot
a
ship the
machine that
machine with the
applies
ink
heat
filled up
and
already,
pressure to
obviously, but
transfer
everything else was
design.
already set up. And all you're gonna have to
So
do
that is
is
it.
just have the ink pump into the printer, which again is all included in instructions.
So you can see printing out the design
Once
on the
your image
film,
is printed, you need
transparent
to
film.
apply
So you
DTF
can see
powder.
that the film is
So it
transparent,
comes
it's
in these
not cutting it.
bags, and I did transfer mine from a bag into a plastic container with a lid. It just makes it
So
easier
after
to work with,
printing,
and you could just close the box and put it away for storage.
you pour your powder on it. It comes with the machine. You can also buy it so that it can stick well.
After applying the powder, place your image face down into the InkSonic curing machine for about 50 seconds. And once it's cured, your design is ready to be pressed
So
onto like
once you
any
put
type
it in
of
that
fabric,
machine, your design
t-shirts,
will be
tote
cured.
bags, and like
It will be
many other
permanent.
items.
That's the curing.
And the cool thing is that once it's been cured,
So you look
you
at
could
how the DTF
store
also
these printing
works.
designs
This
and
is just
store
like
them
an
and
iron.
press them later whenever you're ready. For this
Okay.
part, I'm using the InkSonic handheld heat press. And once it reaches 320 degrees in Fahrenheit, I press down firmly for about 25 seconds. When the timer goes off,
The
do
one
not peel
speaking,
it right
kindly, the
away.
one
The
making
TF
call,
is
kindly
a
mute
cold
yourself.
peel, so you have to make sure it cools down completely before removing the clear film. And that way the design will be perfectly on
All right, so
your
that is it.
t-shirt or wherever you applied it. And as you could see, it's very flexible, it's lightweight, and you can't really feel it on. And I used a black t-shirt to show you how the colors, especially the whites, did not change, and they're still very vibrant. And here's a side by side comparison of a DTF from
Mute
InkSonic,
yourself,
which is
please.
on the left, and one from another
Edmond,
DTF company
kindly
that I
mute
have
yourself.
used. And as you can see, the InkSonic print is like much more vibrant and stays truer to the original digital image in terms of color and detail, which is actually very, very important. This is like one of many reasons why I've been loving this InkSonic DTF printer so far. The quality and the color accuracy like really stands out, and I love that. It's a big.
All right, so that is the DTF. Thank you so much. Now we are done with the heat transfer. Any question on that? Any question? Any question? Any question on that? Yeah, sure. So we start with Christian.
Yes, sir. Yes, Ransford.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I think with the direct to garment, apart from that, I think we have, direct to file, to phone. We have DTJ2, that is direct to garment.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. All right.
And I think
Thank you. Thank you.
before you can print on, and we have sublimation too. Sublimation.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
You're
much
welcome,
for
sir.
giving us additional information to this. Thank you. We appreciate that. All right.
And sir,
Next,
I think
Ransford.
with the foam too, with the foam, I think we have hot peel and cold peel. So in the sense that the moment you heat it with the hot peel, you can peel the foam when it's hot. Then with the
Sure.
cold peel, you can also peel. You have to wait for the foam to be cold before you can peel it off. If not, it will spoil your design.
All right. Thank you. That's great. That's
Thank you,
great.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. Ransford. Yes.
Ah. My question is, would you know these things that the TTF and then printing? Would there be any chance that it has a short term of peeling off, or is that a long term? That's what I want to know.
Honestly speaking, it depends on how you take care of your paraphernalia. Honestly speaking, I tell people there's one thing that I believe in. There's something that I seriously believe in: maintenance culture. That is you can have the most durable print on earth if you use it wrongly. You apply the strong detergent that most of us don't even read how we should iron our dresses, how it should be dried, how it should be washed, and other stuffs. We don't read it. All that we know is just to go and buy it and begin wearing it. Okay. I have a very strong sense of maintenance culture. I could buy something that is fake to you, but I can tell you I'll use it for decades. It will still remain very intact. That is me. That is me. I've been wearing an attire for almost 7 good years, and it's still very neat because I don't dry my stuff, under direct sun. I don't dry it. If you are seeing me drying it, they do not even take more than 5 minutes. Okay, so it all depends on the way we treat and maintain the item. So that is one thing that I would say concerning your question. Maintenance is key. Yeah. But if they do it permanently forever, how would the company get money? The company will not get money. So it has to spoil. All right. Okay, so Ransford, that is that. Yeah, Edmond, your question, please.
Sir, thank you. I realized the
Yeah.
powder was applied on the transferred paper manually. Is that always the case? Because I'm just thinking,
that is
as
what
you
I
are
also
doing
know. Yeah, that is what I also know so far as the DTF is concerned.
okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. Okay, so thank you so much. We now go to digital embroidery machine. Digital embroidery machine. Digital embroidery machine. Before we read the digital embroidery machine, let us again, you read first, then we show the video. Or which one is which? Should we show the video first? The video will help first. So let's watch the video.
Hello guys and welcome to the same workshop. My name is Olasukomi and today I want to show you guys how a monogram machine works. I just want you to have a rough idea of what a monogram is and how it works. Basically, monogram machine, when you see it, you feel like most of the outputs, most of the outwork are basically on the machine itself, but most of the design that you do are mostly done on the computer. Then after you draw your design, that's when you're going to load it on the monogram machine. As you can see, there's a screen here that I use in operating the machine, and I have an hard drive here that you're going to copy most of your file before you load it into the monogram machine. Here I have a 16 gig of, let me focus this so you can see the hard drive.
So you design your work
you
on
can
computer,
see.
then
so I have a 16 gigabytes of hard drive that I mostly copy
upload it,
and when I'm about to like put
onto your
when I'm about to do
drive or
my
flash drive
work on the machine, this is called a frame. So I'm going to frame a shirt that I'm going to put a design on. I'm going to frame it and show you guys the process of framing. Then we're going to
the machine,
apply it to the machine, and we're going to do it
download it there.
So let's go straight to the framing first.
So it's now going to frame the particular part that we are not frame the particular part that the embroidery.
So here I have an outfit that I want to frame, as you can see. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the exact point in which I want the frame to be. So from here, from my shoulder here, I want the frame to be like in the chest, around that center point, somewhere around here. So I'm going to measure it. So I want the logo to be exactly at this 10th position. So from this 10, I'm going to measure from between the flap to this space is going to be at 3.5. Exactly how you measure your pocket, but this will be the tip at the top of the pocket. 3.5 by 10. So I'm just going to chalk this place. Just make a small mark at that particular point. I believe you can see that. So this is where I'm going to start the framing.
Now indicating.
So here,
a specific spot
the frame
that
is in double. You can see.
The embroidery.
I'm just going to remove this
will be done
separately. So this one will go underneath. Basically, before I used to put like an interfacing to it, or I stopped putting interfacing after I see what I can get without an interfacing. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this at the center point. I'm going to
at the back to make it, with the material.
So I'm going to make sure it's hold very well, and I can screw that part in order to make it tight. So now we have our framing, and our logo is going to be inside of this. You can see. So when we're done with the framing, as you can see, I just unbutton the chest side. So I'll be using this. This machine is actually a 2-edge monogram machine. I'll be using one edge because I'm only designing one design. So here, I'll be putting this on the inside of the, I believe you can see that. Just put this.
Happy Sunshine Education Project. Let's build it one meal at a time with your.
Very simple. And our design is
now set
on the screen.
Correct.
Our
So the
design
is
already
already
on the screen. As you can see, I have the logo
on the screen of the
right
machine.
on the screen. Next thing I'm going to do is to select the thread that I'll be using. I'll be using the black thread.
Select the thread that you use for the embroidery, whether it's blue or red or whatever. So it's now setting. You can see the design on the screen over here. Is the design. So the thread has been selected. So this one can print two at the same time, one here, the other here.
Okay, so after zooming in, I just wanted to see the close-up. So the needle is right here. I'm going to on the machine. Can easily click on the start button right here to start.
So We'll start. Transferring the design to the material. We're starting with designing it. So you can say it's not done.
So as you can see, after this, so we have
Take off your design.
so we have so far
Your design is now
quite
ready.
clean,
Take
right?
away the
I can
frame,
easily,
and that ends it over there.
you can see.
So sorry, I lost you. Where did I go to before I lost you? Where did I go to before I lost you?
I was referring to the final embroidery.
Pardon?
The final embroidery of the video. That was the video.
Final embroidery, as in which one?
The video that you just showed us.
I finished showing you the video. That's what you meant.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, then the results.
Oh, okay. So so once we have finished watching it, I think that is it. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is all about embroidery. That is all about embroidery. All right. So I don't know, anytime I'm showing video from the net, I can't tell. Okay. So please, another person should read embroidery machine. Let's go. After we have finished showing the video. Embroidery.
So I'm reading.
All right. Your name, please.
Eric Owusu Asare.
Please, yeah, you have the course reps right here. Do you have them here?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So proceed, please.
Digital embroidery machine. These are digital sewing machines that are used to sew designs into fabrics and leather. The machine has sewing heads ranging from 1 head and above, which carry the needles and threads and direct them to sew. The 6-headed embroidery machine runs at 700 speed per hour. Sir, please scroll up for me, please.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And can sew 200 pieces of designs in a day, depending on the size of the design and the number of colors in it.
All right.
The width of each sewing head measured 6 inches, and it has 9 needles with 9 different colored threads passing through them.
So this one, it depends on the type that you are using. Let's go.
The needles are regulated by head notes and tuners. There are 9 head notes which carry the threads to the needles, 1 set of upper thread tuners, 4 middle thread tuners, and 5 lower thread tuners. The thread tuners are tightened and loosened to control the threads and regulated manually by the sewer.
Okay.
The threads are released as the nodes moved up and down. The machine has aluminum framework at the top of the main body, which holds 1 set of upper thread tuners, and all the sewing heads are attached to the main body of the machine, which is carried by a larger formica-topped metal table.
Okay. All right.
The thread drums are fixed on a number of small metal pins on top of the body in between the upper thread tuners and the sewing heads. There are 4 long aluminum rods joined to form a rectangular frame in which a large stiff material is fixed underneath on the table to extend beyond the length and breadth of the sewing heads. The machine has a computer system consisting of keyboard and a monitor attached to its body, which is used to operate the sewing heads. The computer system has USB slots, which uses 1 flash drive at a time. It has a power switch attached to the body, which is used to turn on and off the machine.
All right. So now we have seen how to operationalize the machine. So let's look at sewing precautions to observe. Sewing precautions to observe.
Sewing precautions to observe. 1. The machine can sew up to 9 colors and can sew only flat color designs or tests.
Okay.
2. When slippery fabric, such as silk, satin, etc., are to be sewn, the background must be reinforced with stiffer backing so as to make the sewing solid.
So you can see that sometimes they have to put stiff at the back of it, depending on the nature of the material. Let's go.
3. When designs are sewn on wooden materials, a light rubber sheet or light paper must be put on the backing stiff before sewing so as to obtain sharp edges for the design.
Because the wool itself is not having like towel, okay, it's not having a fine surface. So if you don't do that, you'll not get a very smooth design. Okay. Let's go.
Digital embroidery machines are used to sew designs on t-shirts, caps, towels, doormats, leather bags, fabric bags, table covers, chair backs, wall hangings, handkerchiefs, bed sheets, table spreads, and others.
All right. So these are some of the components and accessories of the embroidery machines. So we have the sewing threads, we have the sewing heads, we have the input computer where we have to put our design. All right. Then we have the power box. So this is operation of the digital embroidery Some are very big. Okay, so it's used for some digital works over here. So that is all about section 1 on other digital printing processes. Now we go to section 2. Now we are now talking about the support. So one of the main supports that we use in the printing industry is paper. We'll look at what paper is all about, clarification or classification of paper. Someone should do us that good.
Edmond will do this.
All right, Ransford.
Concept of paper.
All right.
Paper is a thin sheet of compressed vegetable cellulose fiber. In communication design, papers are used as substrates for a printed work, letters, lettering, posters, drawing or painting, etc. They are also used in paper crafts to form or make two-dimensional and three-dimensional objects, such as containers, paper bags, envelopes, wrappers, wallpapers, etc. Two different types of papers are available. They are classified into two categories. That is light papers and heavy papers.
All right. So all that we are saying is that paper, we have been seeing it every day, every moment. From the very day you start schooling, you will see paper around. All right. So we are saying that they are a thin sheet of compressed vegetable. You know, it is made up of tree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it's made up of tree. So the tree is mashed for us to get fibers from it, and we process it to get that thin sheet of paper. So that is what we use mostly for surfaces. All right, for printing works. And so like posters, like drawing, painting, lettering, etc. So we also use it to make some three-dimensional works, apart from using it for two-dimensional works like the poster. So basically artworks are grouped into two-dimensional and three-dimensional. So the two-dimensionals are more or less graphic design works. All right, surfaces, their two-dimensional artworks are flat in nature. Okay, they are flat in nature. For instance, posters, drawing, painting, printed T-shirt, they are all two-dimensional because they have length and breadth. So it is the width and the length and breadth that make it two. That is why we call it two-dimensional. All right. When you go behind the work, you will not see the same work. For instance, if you have your photograph printed on a surface, when you go behind the photograph, you check the back, you don't see the photograph over there. So it's only appearing on one surface. And that surface, we have the length and breadth of that work. That is why we call it two-dimensional. Then the three-dimensional works are ways that you can go around it. They are solid. You can feel it and touch it. You can move around it. Whether if the front, you see the work, you go behind it, you see the work, you go beside it, you see the work. That is three-dimensional. All right. So we have papers that are used for three-dimensional works too, like bag. All right. Bag is something that is solid that you can move around it. You can feel and touch. Envelope, wrappers, wallpapers, and so on. Okay. So that is it. And we have several types of papers available, a lot of them, but basically they are classified into two main categories. All the papers are classified into two main categories, where we have the light papers and the heavy papers. Let's go to the classification, please.
Classification of papers. Light papers. These are thin sheets of papers that are lighter in weight. Example, bank, bond, newsprint, cartridge papers, etc. Light papers are mostly used for writing, drawing, and printing. Heavy
All right.
papers.
So we want to, papers are measured in weight. Okay. So we tell this the type of paper based on the weight that it is having, the thickness of it. So we have the one that is very thin, okay, like bond paper. So you see that we have not written A4 sheet over here. No. So the A4 sheet is the bond. Then we have the newsprint, the one that we use for newspapers and others. Then we have cartridge. All right, we have cartridge paper, and then etc. We have a lot of them. All right, that we use for drawing, painting, and printing. Let's go to the heavy paper.
Heavy papers. These are also called border or scarts. They are opaque, thick, and vary in flexibility. They are glazed, unglazed, textured, or patterned. Example, Manila, Vanguard, Strawboard, Chipboard, Greybeard, etc.
Yeah, so we have a lot of them, to their, we have elephant paper, we have chromo coat, we have sugar paper, we have eggshell, many more. So that is it. Cardboard, you know how cardboard is. Cardboard. We have the straw board and so on. So they are usually meant for invitation cards, packages, all right, for goods and services, labels, book covers, files, complimentary cards, and calendars. So that is that. So the assignment is to go to the internet and find different types of paper under two classification. So that is your assignment. Of course, prepare comprehensive characteristics and specific use. This one, all right, just go and read on it. Just go and read on it. We don't want to stress you much. So now let's go to the sizes of papers that we have. What are the sizes of papers? Let's go.
Continue
so that you know the sizes. Yeah, yes, please. Continue.
All right, sizes of papers. Papers are usually sold in rings of standard sizes of sheets, such as A0, A1,
all right, so
A2,
so
A3,
start from
A4, and A5.
Yeah. All right.
Have a look.
Yeah.
The quality
Continue,
of
please.
the quantity of individual sheets packaged into one rim is based on the following. 1. Rim of handmade papers contain 472 sheets. 2. Rim of paper for industrial and electronic printing of books, documents, posters, etc. That is in 500 sheets.
All right.
Now we note here the size of a paper reduced by half of the numeral increase. Therefore, in the example given above, the largest size is an A0, while the smallest size is A5.
Okay, so all that we want to say is that we have a lot of papers. And when we talk about the sizes, okay, they are normally sold in rims. So you have been buying, I want one rim, I want two rims. Okay, it's made up of the sizes. We have from A0 to A5 and many, down. And you realize that the numbers attach the A. All right, the numbers attach the A. That is the A0, A4, A6, and so on. When the number is low or less, it means the paper is very big. So for instance, A1 is bigger than A2. A2 is bigger than A3. A0 is bigger than A5. So that is that.
All right, sir. Should I continue?
Yeah.
But we now
So
go to the summary.
that is, yeah. So give us the summary.
The summary. That the session discusses the concept of paper and how papers are classified. It also discusses the various size and thickness in which papers are produced. Examples of papers such as A0, A1, A2, A3, etc. Thank you, sir.
All right. So that is it. Yes, any question? Any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please, sir, the naming of the paper sizes, does it have a unique reason as to why A1 and not B, some like the alphabet and the numbers?
Okay. So the A, so we have these are series. Okay, these are series. So we have series. So we have the A series of papers. Okay, the A series of paper is defined by about 260 international standards. Okay, so that is the label given to it. That's the label given to it. So apart from the A series, that's the first and the most foremost broad adopted standards of papers that are noted. Apart from that, we have other series too. We have the B series, okay, the B series, we have the C series, and so on. All right, so the A series is like small, medium, and large, okay, for paper. So that is it. So these are the series given, I mean, to them. So we have the A series, we have the B series, and we have the C series. But the A series is the most notable one that we know in the world and accepted by many. It is a standardized something. All right. So that is it. Any other question, please? Eben, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you. With the bond paper, I've come across different grams of bond papers.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something like that exists.
Yeah, we have so you buy the bond paper, what you normally call the A4. There we see the grams. All right, that is the thickness, So it will depend. All right, the gram that you want. Some are a bit heavier than the other, so it is there. So it depends on even the type that you want. The higher the higher the gram, the more expensive it is, and sometimes the lesser the number of pieces in the rim. So that is it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Some also they are just so you can see one with glossy surface, some with flat surface. That one, can you explain a bit for me?
All right, so these are the let's say, apart from the classification, we have the surface features or the looks, the outlooks. Okay. So we have some that are glossy, we have some that are matte. So the matte means that it is the normal one. For example, so we are using the textured ones. We have the textured ones, we have the matte ones, we have the glossy ones. I think we'll look at it going forward. It seems we have, if we don't have it, I'll still explain it for you. So we have the glossy ones like the chromo coat. We have the glossy one like the photo paper, the one that we have been using to snap your photograph and they print it for you. See that it is shiny, it is glossy. Okay, then we have the matte one, that is the bond paper. Okay, that's the bond paper that we normally call the A4. Then we have the textured one. Okay, we have the textured one, and so that one it's having some, you know, simulated kind of texture. Okay, not simulated, tactile texture, rough texture. Okay, that is it. Then we even have the colored ones. Of course, the colored ones, you have been seeing them and whatever. So these are the characteristics of some of the papers that we have. Any more questions? Okay, so this one, we come to the session 3, that's the historical development of paper. It is not anything very distinct, just few, all right? Just few. This one will not spend much time knowing who brought about the paper and the name of the person and how it was invented and whatever. Just take your time and read that. That's literature for you to read. So that one, it is meant for you to read. So that is individual reading after the lesson. Then we now come to manual paper manufacturing process. How do we manufacture paper? How do we manufacture paper? So by the end of this lesson, we shall look at the raw materials used for paper manufacturing, then describe the processes involved in preparing the raw materials manually to produce paper. So that is what we are going to look at. That is what we are going to look at. All right. So we'll look at the manual paper manufacturing process. And as I said, you will not see anyone using the manual. If I go off, I'll come again. Okay. It seems I'm having some serious power outages right now. So please, are you listening to me? If I go off, I'll come again, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm having difficulty with the power. But let's talk. Okay, it's not stable a bit. It's not stable. Okay. Let me quickly. Okay. So in modern world, you don't see anyone manufacturing paper by hand again. Oh, come on. Oh, we don't do that any longer. So, but it is good that we know how it works, right? We know how it works. So we'll look at how it works so that we would we'll move to the next one, which is the technological way or the modern way of producing it. So let's quickly look at the paper, the manual one. The manual one, then and I'll give you a summary of how it is done manually. Or you want me to give you a summary of how it is done manually before you read?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can give you a summary of how it is done manually. Right. But before then, someone should start the reading.
Okay, Edmond will read.
Someone should start the reading. Edmond, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Manual
Sure.
or hand paper making method. Raw
Okay.
materials required include straw, leaves, bags, rags, or other fibrous materials. There are two basic processes involved in hand paper making. One, breaking up of raw materials into water to form a suspension of individual fibers. Two, formation of felted sheet. Processes: breaking up of raw material in water to form a suspension of individual fibers. One, wash the raw materials to remove all dirt and impurities by placing them in a vat or trough containing running
trough. So that is something like a bowl, yeah.
Trough containing running water and allow it to dry. Two,
Okay.
pound the material with heavy pestle or hammer to separate or break up the fibers to obtain a powder. Okay. Three, mix the powder with water in a vat or trough and allow the material to suspend in the water for some time. The liquid material formed is called half staff.
Okay, so it will suspend. Okay, so when you have your material like your straw, like your leaf, like your whatever, all that you need to do is to break it up, all right, in water to form a suspension of the individual fibers. So what you must do is first and foremost to wash your material first. That's your raw material first to remove all impurities. Okay, there you place it in the trough containing running water. So the water will be running as it is cleaning the dirt. Okay, there you allow it to dry. So after allowing it to dry, what must you do? You pound it. You pound it with pestle or hammer to break up the fibers to obtain your powder. Once the powder is obtained, you have to mix the powder with water in the vat and allow the material to suspend in the water for some time. So that liquid material that is formed is known as half staff. So now, how do we form the felted sheet? So how do you form the sheet itself? That is what we call the felted sheet. How do you form that sheet itself? How do you form it? So in forming it, all that I want you to understand is that first, it is in about 9 stages. 9 stages. So we have the forming the wet sheet. Okay, so you now form the wet. So in this, all these stages that are here are grouped into 9 stages. Okay, so the first stage is the forming the wet sheet. You are forming the wet sheet. So a mold, that is a wooden frame with a mesh screen, is held, all right, in a decker, a supporting frame. So the decker is a supporting frame. So the mold is held in a decker. Okay, the mold is now dipped into the vat, a vat that is contained, or the trough that is containing the half staff. Okay, that's where the suspension of the pop water is. Then when lifted, the layer of the pop that is suspending settles on the mesh. Okay, when it settles on the mesh, what happens? Then you come to 2, then evening out the fibers. All right, now you are evening out the fibers. You are bringing out the same, the same textures, or that's even textures, or that's what they call evening out the fibers. So the mold is shaking gently in a direction forward and backwards, like the way you sieve some. If you are sieving some or whatever, move forward and backwards. This distribute the fibers evenly. That is why we say evening out the fibers. Okay, it will distribute the fibers evenly. All right, so the smooth ones will go to a particular place, the rough ones will also go to a particular, just like if you are sieving something. You see, when you are sieving something like ISAM or whatever, you get the rough ones and get the smooth ones. I mean, that's what you're talking about. Then this distribute the even fibers and help them interlock when strengthening the sheet. So as the mold is shaking, excess water drains from the mesh, leaving wet mat of fibers. Then we come to the initial setting. So during the initial setting, what happens? During the initial setting, the mold is now set aside, all right, briefly to allow the fibers to stick together. That they allow the fibers to cohere, that's to stick together. So the darker is removed, leaving the wet sheet on the mold. Then we are now going to transfer the sheet. So the mold is turned over to a transfer the mold is now turned over to transfer the wet sheet onto a piece of felt, that is a wooden cloth. A wooden cloth. Another felt is placed on top, sandwiching the sheet. So you put the sheet onto a wooden, all right, a woolen cloth, not wooden, a woolen cloth. When you put your sheet, all right, on that woolen cloth, you put another woolen cloth on top of it again. It's just like you are doing sandwich. You place it in between. Okay, so this sandwich is called the cushion. Okay, so the process is repeated to form multiple sheets. Then the fifth one is to press the stack. So the stack of the felt paper layer, all right, is placed in a hydraulic press. Then it is pressed under very heavy pressure. So once you press it, don't forget the sheet is in between the woolen cloths. Okay, so once you press it, it removes most of the water from the sheet. All right, so once it is removed, what happens? You have to repress the for surface improvement. So after the initial pressing, the sheets are removed and repressed multiple times. Okay, this improves the surface quality and ensure even drying. Then the last but not least, before we come to the last, but then you dry it. So after drying it, okay, after you press it, then you dry it. So after drying it, so the drying is done in small groups, all right, over a rope in a drying room. They are left to dry completely, allowing all the moistures in the sheet to evaporate. So what would we do now is to size it, okay, So the dry sheets are dipped in the solution of animal glue called sizing. So the animal glue is for the binding. It serves as a binding material. Okay, so sizing prevents ink from bleeding into the paper. That's why when you put ink on the paper, it will not bleed, ensuring crisp lines, during writing and printing. Then the final one is the side sheets are pressed between metal or smooth cardboards. Okay, the duration and pressure of this final pressing determine the smoothness of the finished paper. So now your paper is finished for use. So that is all about what it's here. So that is it. Now, any question on that before we move to the industrial paper manufacturing process? Any question on the manual one? Any question on the
Yes,
manual one
sir.
before we
Sir,
move?
with the manual manufacturing of paper, so after using
Mm,
the hydraulic press to press it, how do you get the individual
mm.
sheets from the stack? Because it's a stack, right?
Yes, so that one, I initially said that um, those ones are done, after putting. Sorry, hold on. I have a very emergency call. Let me just speak and get back to you. Uh, Yeah, thank you so much. I had to pick this call, so thank you so much for holding on. Then, so your question, this coaching is done in layers, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. That's a manual one. Okay, it's done in layers. Okay, so when you finish pressing, you press the other one. It's not done. It's not done. Maybe I don't know. The coaching is one sheet. Okay, one sheet at a time. One sheet at a time. And the hydraulic press is not necessarily, we are talking about manual one, so you can put board, all right, on top of the wool, all right. I mean, that is on top of the two, and the cotton, and the wash sheet, the felt that has the sheet in it. We have the woolen one at the base, the sheet on it, and another wool, all right, on top of it. Then you place maybe a flat wood on top. Then you put some big stone or blocks on top for the distance to drain. And so, as I said, so when that is done, you can do it multiple times. That is if you have your wood, okay, woolen materials there. There you can do it in layers till you get your pieces of sheets together. All right. Thank you. Okay, so let's quickly look at section section 5. That is the industrial paper manufacturing process. Industrial paper manufacturing process. So let's look at that. So under the industrial, so this one is basically the machine one, how it is done. All right, so we shall focus on debarking, we'll come to chipping, we'll come to pulping, we'll come to bleaching, then we end it. So we shall start with the backing, the backing. Who is reading? Yeah.
Sir, I'm reading.
All right. Who is this? David. Okay. All right.
David, yes, sir. Debarking.
There's one gentleman before David. Sorry, there's one gentleman who is Mel what? Yeah, place your question.
No, sir, I wanted to read, but like David can go ahead.
Okay, so after David, then Melmark will read.
All right.
After David, Melmark will read. Thank you so much.
All right. So debarking. This is the first stage in the pulp making process. It involves removing the outer covering of the wood. The logs are first placed in piles and loaded into a conveyor in a flum or flame. Okay, a flowing throw of water to. Sorry, let me take that part again. The logs are first packed and in piles and loaded into a conveyor in a flame, a flowing throw of water to go to the debarking plant. Two types of debarkers are used: mechanical debarker and hydraulic debarker.
All right, so let's end it there. So in the paper making process, so we said the first stage in the pulp making process. What is the pulp? So the pulp is something like raw or fibrous material used to make the paper. So we need to get the first raw fibrous material that is used to get the paper. So it consists of a cellulose fiber, all right, extracted from the natural source like wood, rag, all right, and other stuff. So we need to get these fibers are suspended in water to form slurry before we process it into a sheet of paper. So we are saying that in the types of the debarking, if you say debarking, let me explain the debarking over here in simply put. Debarking is removing the back from the logs. Now the skin, all right. So it's a way of peeling off the back of the wood. So you can just put it over there. So debarking means removing backs from logs. Okay. So we are saying that we have the mechanical debarker and the hydraulic debarker. The mechanical debarker and the hydraulic debarker. Let's go to the mechanical one.
Okay, the mechanical debarker. This is the oldest type of debarking plant. It is a metallic drum into which is lined with steel bars vertically, which rub off the back covering of the log upon rotation. After debarking, the bags are deposited into a conveyor, and the logs are also transferred into another conveyor, which sends them into a chipping plant.
Okay, so you should know that it is a process. Okay, so once you bring the log into the industry, the first thing that must happen is it must be debugged. So we don't want the rough, covers. That's the back of the tree. So it is placed in a metallic drum, all right, which will take away all the back covering the logs. So after debugging, the bags are deposited into different, conveyor, and the logs too are transferred into another conveyor, and they'll send it for the chipping plant. And so the chipping plant will look at what chipping is. So the first stage, don't forget, is to debug. So you can just make it so simple for you to get debugged. So the first stage, debugging, removing bags from logs. Once, if you write that, you are correct. You don't need to write all these things. The first stage, debugging, removing bags from logs. And the removing bags from log, we have the two types of or ways of removing the back of the log. We have the mechanical and the hydraulic. Let's look at the hydraulic. Let's go.
Okay. The hydraulic debugger. This consists of removing stand in which a high pressure of water jets of 1,500 psi pressure blows to peel off the bags of the logs.
That one, let me tell you, that water can even tear you into pieces. You will not even see you. Water coming out with certain speed. It will tear you into pieces. All right, the pressure alone, very, very, very high, 1,500. It is used to peel off the back of the tree. So that is it. All right. So now we come to the chipping. Now, what is the chipping? Chipping simply means cutting the logs into smaller pieces, into smaller chips, smaller chips. So that's what we call the chipping. It is normally done in a plant, a machine called the chipper. All right. So let's read chipping. So after taking away the back of the log, the next one is to chip it in a chipper. Let's go, please.
Chipping. This is the method of chopping the debugged logs into pieces of chips of about 1 inch. Chipping is done in a plant called chipper. The chipper consists of a disc fitted with sharp blade which rotates from the hub to the edge. The logs drop into the spinning disc at about 45 degrees angle, which chop the logs into pieces in a few seconds. After chipping, the chips go over series of screening where oversized ones are sorted out and sent to a rechipper, while the sawdust and the undersized chips are used for fuel and other profitable purposes.
Okay, so after debugging, as we said, we have to put it in a machine, a plant, which is the chipper, and the chipper will now cut it. Is someone talking to me? Okay, so the chipper will now, cut the log into pieces. All right, somewhere about 1 inch, we'll be cutting it into pieces. Now, you need to know that when it is cut, it will not be so equal, it will not be so consistent. So the oversized ones are sorted, okay? The oversized ones are sorted and resent for chipping again, while those that are, undersized, those that are not good, the sawdust, okay, they're also separated, and that one we use it for fuel and other stuffs like sawdust and other stuffs. So that is it. Then after the chipping is done, it goes to pulping. So let's look at what pulping is all about. So if you say pulping, now we are now going to convert the chips into slurry. Slurry. Pulps. Okay, slurry. And using a chemical or mechanical method. Okay, so now the pulping, what happens? Let's go.
Pulping is the method of cooking, grinding, or mashing the wood chips into to obtain slurry. Pulping is also done to remove the fiber from the logs. There are 3 classifications of pulping methods. First, chemical pulping, mechanical pulping, and then mechanical pulping.
Okay, so we'll look at the mechanical pulping. The chemical pulping. What goes into the chemical pulping? So this let me quickly look at it. So in this method, of course, it involves the use of chemicals such as sulfate, soda, and sulfite to dissolve the lining. Okay.
Lining.
Content in the wood. So the lining is a glue-like substance in wood which holds or bind the fibers together. All right. So the chemical, all right, chemical pulping process involve cooking a compound consisting of soda, sulfite. So we add these chemicals to it to digest it. All right, to digest it very well. So the mixture is heated directly with the digester by adding, live stream. Directly to the to the machine to digest it, to make it, very soft for use. So that is the chemical one. That is so the wash pulp is now called the brown stock. All right, the wash pulp is now called the brown stock. Then we come to the mechanical one. So the mechanical one, the logs are taken from the debugger to the grinder. All right, that tear the fibers from the wood. So in the grinder, this one, it means that we are not really adding this thing to it, any chemical to it. Okay, so in the grinder, the logs are held against, grindstone by hydraulic pressure. Okay, it will grind all fibers, mix it with cooling water, and spread it on stone to form slurry, okay, of pulp. So it is this slurry that passes over a series of screens where good pulps are separated from the bad ones. All right, so the good pulp is now is called accept. Okay, so that is it. Then we have the chemical mechanical. So they are all under the pulping. They are all under the pulping. All right. So we are still making slurry of the wood. So this one is mechanical, mechanical. So this is the combination of chemical and mechanical pulping process. In this process, the chips are half cooked, all right, in the chemical mixture to dissolve the line properly, okay, partially. Then the half-cooked chips are sent to the mechanical grinder where the fibers are separated from the woods or from the logs. The process, all right, produce high quality pulp than the other. So this one, it is this one is, if you want the high pulp quality, okay, the high quality pulp, you need to mix the two together. The chemical and the mechanical will give you a very beautiful, pulp. All right. So then we go to the bleaching. Then what happens to the bleaching? If you hear bleaching, we are talking about whitening the pulp. The wood may not be white. The wood may not be as white as the paper. So there's a need for you to bleach it. All right. So bleaching is just means whitening. So you whiten the pulp by removing the residual, lining. Okay. So that is it. Please read the bleaching.
Bleaching. This is an extension of the pulping process where a chemical solution is used to remove stains of lining and other colored substances from the pulp to produce a brighter white pulp. The main bleaching agents are chlorine gas, calcium hydrochloride, hydrogen peroxide, and chlorine dioxide. After the pulp has been bleached, it is used without washing.
All right. So that is it. That is all that we need to talk about. But we are not done with the process. We are now going to look at the beating, all right, or the refining. Then we come to the cleaning. And so we will look at it as a continuation of it. Then we come to the beating, the refining, the repulping, and adding of additives and cleaning. So let's look at the continuation. So we come to, so after the bleaching, we come to beating.
Beating.
That is, yes. Another person, please. Another person. Is it Melmac? Melmac, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity.
All right.
So we're looking at beating. This is the process of separating pulp fibers from each other so that they will not hold together to form shapes or lumps when they are formed or pressed into a sheet. Beating also changes the individual fibers of the pulp so that the paper maker can pelt or press them into a smooth, even sheet that will handle, look, and wear well. In beating, the bleached pulp is transferred into a beating plant, which contains a beating roll fixed with a number of metal bars called beating bars. The beating roll rotates speedily in the pulp and in conjunction with bed plates separates the fibers.
All right. So in the beating, what happens is that this is where we modify fibers structure for better bonding and paper quality. So that's what you need to know. So normally we add the beating and the refining together. All right. Normally we add the beating and the refining together. And so it is modification of fibers structure for better bonding and paper, quality. So let's look at the refining.
Refining. This is the method of cutting and shortening the pulp fibers to produce a uniform pulp. Refining is done in a refiner, which consists of a bar stand rotating element, which fit closely together. During refining, the pulp is suspended in water and is pumped through the refiner continuously. In the process, the fibers are cut and shortened.
All right. So that is refining. That's to get a good paper quality. And so it's done in a refiner which consists of the bar started rotating element which fits closely together. So during refining, what happens is that the pulp is suspended in water and it is pumped through the refiner continuously. The essence of it refining it is for us to get a better bonding and paper quality. That is why it has to go through refining. Then repulping will come again after refining. Let's go.
Repulping. This takes place after the pulp has been refined and dried. In repulping, the dried pulp or paper is resuspended in water to break down the pulp fibers that might have held together during drying to individual fibers before it's processed further. During repulping, no changes are made to the fiber's properties.
All right. So after the popping, then after the repopping again, then the next one is for us to add the additives. So we are now going to add the additives. So the additives, we are going to the additives can be binders, it can be dyes and pigment to give it a color. So the binders are to improve the strength, okay, and the surface of the paper property. All right. Then we also add fillers to enhance the brightness or smoothness of the paper. Then we do sizing. So we have sizing agent that improve ink resistance, so that it will. So if you see a paper that will soak an ink, it means that it is without that sizing agent, or the sizing agent has not been added well. So let's add the additives to it to make it complete for use. Let's go. Continue.
During the stock flow system, that is sequence of pulp making process, certain chemicals are added to the pulp at certain stage to improve its quality. The additives are used to improve the pulp before it's finally processed into paper.
Sure.
The 4 common additives used are materials to change interfiber bonding, materials to improve look.
So the material to change the interfiber bonding, that is what is known as the binder. Okay, let's go.
The materials to change interfiber bonding, materials to improve looks, and
so the material to improve the looks is the fillers. So we use fillers. That's to enhance the brightness and the smoothness. Yes.
Internal sizing to improve water resistance of the paper and dye stuffs.
Okay, so then we also add dyes to it to bring out the color, to give it a color of the paper. So that is it. Then we come to cleaning.
This is the final or last process involved in the stock flow system. The 2 major methods involved in cleaning are screening and pressure dropping cleaning.
Okay. So we want to look at the final process, which is cleaning. That is removing impurities and oversized particles. Okay. So that is the cleaning. So we have the screening. All right. We have the screening and the pressure drop cleaning. So what is the screening? Yes.
Screening, this is the method of removing clumps, dirt, and other foreign matter from the pulp. Stock or pulp clumps are formed from undercooked wood chips, waste paper, slime growth, and similar hard to break up materials. The importance of pulp cleaning is to achieve uniform fiber dispersion.
All right. Then we come to the pressure drop cleaning.
This uses equipment called the centric cleaner or cyclone cleaner. The stock enters into the cyclone cleaner through a tapering tube at the top left side of the plant. Whilst in the plant, the pulp is spiraled at high velocity, and the heavier foreign matter is separated from the lighter fibers and moved down as rejected, which pass through the small end of the shafts. At the same time, an inner spiraling column called vortex moves up to the top of the shaft, where the lighter fibers, which is also known as accept, are removed. The high velocity at which the pulp spirals in the shaft creates a pressure in the shaft, which separates the heavier clumps, depth or foreign matter, from the fine, higher fibers to drop through the bottom of the shaft as reject.
So, ladies and gentlemen, so after that, what happens is that it is pressed and dried to form a continuous sheet of paper. So that is That is the final stage, after which it is pressed and dried. The pulp is now pressed and dried to form a continuous sheet of paper, which can be in reams, all right, in rows before they begin to cut it into pieces. So that is all that we'll have to talk about. Unit 3, we'll talk about Unit 3 next week. Unit 3, we'll discuss Unit 3 next week. Then so Saturday and Sunday we shall be looking at it. So we'll be looking at the continuation, the processing of the pulp to paper. Or let's finish that, so that we would, because I said after the pulp is done, you press it. After pressing it, you dry it to form the paper. So let's end it there, so that we will not forget. Let's end it at the, yes, let's end it at let me see which one, so that we know that we are done everything concerning paper. So let's end it at how to create special effects in paper. So once the cleaning is done, and as the last distance, then we now continue to, as I said, you press, you press and dry to form continuous sheets of paper. So before it comes into pressing and drying to form the continuous paper, certain things go into it. So we'll look at the processing of the pulp to paper itself. So let's look at the processing of the pulp to paper. So that in summary, that's why I said that is the final decision, is to press and dry to form a continuous sheet of paper. What goes into the pressing and drying to form a continuous sheet of paper? That is what we want to look at right now. So we have the wet pressing, the drying, the sizing, and the calendaring. So then we come to the finishing. Let's go. Yes.
How to process, or somebody's taking?
Yes, please.
All right.
Okay, someone is taking. Someone.
Yeah.
Okay, you finish with the first this thing for us. Then the other person will continue. You finish it with us.
So how to process pulp into paper? Paper making plants are among the largest industrial processing plants in the world because of the numerous complex steps or stages of processing wood logs to pulp and the further processing of pulp to papers. Paper making plants can produce paper over 380 inches wide at more than 4,000 feet per minute. So nowadays, many industrial paper making process are computer controlled, but operative skills are also required in order to achieve quality production. The process involved in forming paper with pulp are wet pressing, drying, sizing, and calendaring and finishing.
So now we want to see how best we'll now form the pulp into the paper. Okay, that's why I said the pressing and the drying to form the continuous sheet of paper. We now want to look at it. And so we said that this whole paper industry, it's a very big industry. Okay, the plant is very, very, very big because of the procedures that it will take from debarking, even from transporting the log onto the ground before it is debarked. Okay, so of course, in the advent of technology, AI and other robots are used, whatever. But sometimes you need human skills too. That will control it to bring about quality check and balances are needed over here. So we say that the process of forming the pulp, all right, of forming the pulp to paper are basically wet drying, wet pressing, drying, sizing, calendaring, and finishing. Let's look at the wet pressing.
Wet pressing. The pulp slurry is delivered to the continuously moving pour dryer wire through the head box of the wet end. Normally, the pulp slurry contains high percentage of water. As the slurry travels along the length of the wire, the water is removed by gravity and vacuum, and the remaining solid into bracket pulp fiber form a mat of paper. The mat pulp enters a wet press section where it passes between press rolls covered with wool and other rollers made of granite, brass, or hard rubber. The caliber into bracket thickness of the press sheet is partially controlled at this stage by constant adjustments.
All right. So it ought to come here. That's the wet pressing. It ought to come here for the calibers to press the sheet over here to take away, the water. Okay. So let's come to drying. Let's go.
After drying, after the press sheet has left the wet press unit, it still contains about 60% of moisture before it enters the drying section. Drying section, it passes over steam heated drying rolls about 4 to 5 feet. The paper is heated on one side and the other as it passes from roll to roll. The heat from the rolls dries off the moisture to 90%.
So you realize that when the wet press is done, the pulp is now pressed with the help of the calibers to take away, the amount of moisture or water from it. You realize that it is not completely taken out. We are saying that after the press sheet, the press sheet has left with the wet press unit, it still contains a certain amount of moisture. We are saying that about 60% of the moisture. So it means that it is not dry yet. It is not dry yet. So it has to go through that steam heating process. All right. As the paper moves in rolls, all right, the steam blow it. It blow it, as it gets a bit drier. Even that, it will hit it and dry it to almost about 90%. The heat from the rose dry of the moisture to about 90%. It means it's not even 200%. So it is the sizing that will possibly do the work now. Let's look at the sizing.
Sizing. This is the process of running and pressing the dried paper through a vat of liquidized size. After the web of dry paper, which may contain about 5% to 10% of moisture of dry paper, has left the drying section, it enters the sizing unit of the plant, which has 2 large rollers and a vat of sizing liquid. It runs through the sizing liquid and then between 2 rollers that press the paper to squeeze out excess sizing solution. The paper leaves the sizing press containing about 25% of water. The water goes through another drying unit before it leaves to the
Calendar unit.
unit. The main importance of sizing the paper is to harden the surface of the paper to resist penetration of ink, resist the effect of handling, and fastens the loose surface fiber to the base sheet.
So I already told you that there is an agent, okay, a sizing agent, all right, that has to be added to improve the ink resistance. So that's what happens over there, so that it will harden the surface so that ink would not bleed through, all right, the paper will not be porous. If it's quite too porous, it's not hardened well, while you are writing, you see that the ink will be, bleeding, uh, you know, onto the back page. So that is that. Let's go to the calendaring. Calendaring. Yeah.
After the sized paper is dried, it enters the calendaring unit, which has 8 or 9 highly polished steel rolls, 16 inches to 24 inches in diameter. The paper over and around each roll being pressed, smooth and getting a more uniform thickness. During the felt and wire marks that were in the paper from dryer wire and the drying cylinders are smoothened. After calendaring, the web of paper is taken up on a reel at the dry end of the paper making machine. On the larger machine, paper is round in rolls with diameters up to 88 inches into bracket 225.5 centimeters. After the initial, some papers are super calendared by running them through the steel rolls again in order to produce a highly smooth and polished finish for special use.
All right. So the calendaring, that is where the size paper which is dried is taken through, all right, another polishing rules. All right, polish rule. They are very smooth, so it will polish the surface of the this thing, making it highly smooth and polished, all right, finish for special use. So that is what the calendaring does at this stage, is for polishing and for high level of smoothness. All right, so let's go to the finishing.
Finishing. After the paper has come out of the paper making machine, it goes through several finishing steps before it is finally packed for delivery or distribute to customers. The finishing steps include inspecting, sheeting, special finishing, rewinding, and shipping.
All right.
When the large roll of papers comes out of the paper making machine, it is rewound on a reel. During the rewound, the edges of the paper are trimmed and the paper is cut to required widths. The web of paper can also be cut into sheets from the rewinder or from any other finished process. To cut the paper into sheets, the rolls are placed on reel stands which hold a dozen rolls. From the reel, the paper passes through slitters, which cut the paper into the correct width. The paper then goes through a cutter where a knife revolves on a cylinder. Each time the cylinder revolves, the knife cuts the sheet to a specific length. After being the sheet on moving belts to machine called layboys, which jog the sheet into uniform piles. Most modern layboys have counters that automatically insert a marker at the required number of sheets. Workers inspect, count, and wrap the sheet into packs of okay of packs of the right amount. Nowadays, there are automated paper making machines that undertake all the activities from cutting to wrapping without using too much human effort. The large rolls of to be used for large presses are often wound and handled with care. The wrapped paper delivered to the customers by shipping, airline, truck, etc.
Okay, so we realized that we were talking about finishing, and we said that the finishing goes with certain steps. All right, so it includes the inspection of the paper, it includes sheeting, it includes special finishing and rewinding and shipping. So that's what takes place over here so far as finishing is concerned. So that is all about the finishing. So we'll talk about, I can see your hands are up. Let's quickly finish the special effects in papers, then we'll address all your questions. So the special effects in papers. So after finishing, we have to, some of the papers are colored, some of the papers are having some embossment, some of them are having some watermarks. All right. These are special effects that some of the paper bears. So let's look at the special effects that we see in papers. How to create, so we'll look at how to create special effects in paper. So after the paper is that we want to look at how to create this special effect. Some of the, you have seen as example is the eggshell, or the eggshell is one, and we have those that are embossed very nicely, and some of them too are having some watermarks inside, some creative features inside. So we want to look at how those things are done. All right, how to create special effect in paper, please.
How to create special effects.
Someone should help you.
Someone should do that finally.
Okay. How to create
name,
special
please,
effects in. I'm Richard Akutia.
Okay, Richard. All right.
How to create special effects in paper. Different types of background treatment can be given to papers. Examples of such effects include watermarks, embossing, and etc.
Okay. All right.
Watermark.
So,
then
all right.
These are designs that are created into the paper without using ink. They are often created as identification sign. The importance of watermark is to advertise the company that manufactured the paper or the business that uses the paper. Elements such as logo, company names, service marks, slogan, etc. are normally created as watermarks. There are two major methods of creating watermarks effect in papers. The first one, we have candy roll method. Then the second one, we have rubber stamp method.
All right. So one of the effects of creating special effects in paper is the watermark. You know, and we said that the watermark is not created into the paper using ink. All right, but there are identification signs. All right, of maybe the company name, the logo, service mass slogan. You know, so they are for business purposes and for identification purposes. We are saying that for the watermark, you know, we have two major ways of creating this effect. So we have the candy roll, you know, method and the rubber stamp method. All right, let's go to the candy roll.
Okay, the candy roll method. The candy roll is a plant consisting of a cylindrical frame wrapped with wire into which a recessed or raised design of the symbol is created. The candy roll rides on top of the short drainer wire near the end where the pulp leaves the screen and enters the first press drying sections. As the wire watermark from foam touches the still fluid paper, it displaces some of the fiber to produce a specific pattern or design. That's the watermark in the paper.
All right, so if you look at the candy roll method, this is all right. The design is already, you know, fixed to the roll, the cylindrical, you know, frame. All right. So as the paper passes, you know, through, all right, the two, it presses it for that mark to take place. So that is it. Now let's go to the rubber stamp method.
Okay, that's the rubber stamp method. The rubber stamp roll method uses a metal cylinder on which the image or letters are created in relief. It is located in the wet press section of the paper making machine. The relief image or letter are pressed onto the wet paper upon rotation of the cylinder when the wet paper is running on the machine at the wet end. The relief image produces a slight embossed effect at the back of the paper. This method is often used for cheap or lower cost papers which are produced at higher speed.
All right. Okay. Then finally the embossing.
Okay. Embossing. This is the act of raising or depressing areas of a paper surface by applying pressure in a repeating pattern. Embossment is usually done by passing a web of paper through a pair of engraved rules that press the pattern into the sheet. Embossment can be produced on one side or both sides of the paper.
Okay, so that is I don't know if you haven't seen this kind of effect before. We have some papers, eggshell types that you can see. Some too are used for letterheads. You know, for official, documentation, so that, you know, it will not be too common for an ordinary person to get. A typical example is your certificate that you had, your degree certificate that you had. You realize that the paper has some effect, an embossed effect on it at the base, so that it will be very difficult for someone to to duplicate it. So that is one of the effects that we are talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, the effect is the last one, but it is not all papers that they put effects on it. So for the effect, you can decide to put it there. But if you don't want to put the effect there, the whole thing ends at the finishing level where we get the entire paper. So that is all that we have to talk about so far as paper processing is concerned. Now, your question time.
Okay.
Yeah, David. David.
So what I wanted to say is that I just saw some video online and I wanted to I don't know, okay, maybe I should put it on the platform so that everybody will watch it.
Put it on the platform.
The paper process.
Process.
All right.
Great. So you can put it on the platform for us to watch. All right. Thank you. Any other? Osman Mohammed.
Okay, sir. Please, mine is about the finishing.
Okay, the finishing.
During the reading, it says, as the cylinder revolves, there is a knife that cuts the paper into a specific length. So I don't know whether this length is being set or it does it automatically within.
So during the finishing, what happens?
That when the cylinder is revolving, there is a knife that cuts the sheets into a specific length. So I'm asking that this length is being set by the person, the user, or is done by the machine.
Yeah. So this is the a way of cutting the paper into sheets. You know. So I think it is done based on if it is a web, all right, web sheet whereby it rolls. Then of course every paper is having measurement. So it could be mechanical or automated. Okay, it could be mechanical or automated. If it's, of course, things are advancing. Maybe I haven't also seen it with my eye before. Okay, so it can be automated or mechanical, a way of cutting the papers into various sizes. So that is it. Maybe when we watch other videos more, we would see it's either whether it is done automatically or it is done, mechanically by hand. So we can check that one out.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, maybe it's please.
Thank you, sir. Initially, before we started, I thought that sizing was about coming to cut the sheet into size, but I realized that sizing actually is adding a particular chemical to it to harden the surface so that it reduces its porosity.
Exactly.
And the calandrin is rather making the surface smooth. Please, I hope that is it.
That's it. That's
Thank
it.
you so
That's
much.
the exact information. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. So today we didn't go for break. You have done well because we want to end right now. We didn't go for break, and I believe the time that I was also making the call, you had some break time. So all too soon we are done with the paper processing. And so in our next discussion or interaction, which is God willing, next week, Saturday, we shall be looking at the session 3 of Unit 3. Session 3 of Unit 3. Because the session 1 and 2 of Unit 3, still covered the paper processing stages. So we will now go to Unit 3, where we would be looking at the activities the activities, all right, the press activities or pre-press activities. What we do, the activities that take place at the press before printing is done. And so we'll look at that, all the activities that take place, all right, at the press. If you are talking about the press, that is the industry or the setup where we print. What and what, do they do before the printing take place? So we will be looking at that. Then after that, we'll look at the activities that also take place during the presence, during the printing stage. Would also look at that one too. Then we would also look at that's the post press activities. What happens after printing? What happens after printing? Then we'll look at all that, what happens after printing, the activities that happen after printing. We shall be looking at that. Then we shall also be looking at troubleshooting. Okay, so troubleshooting by identifying particular issues and how to resolve it. And so that is what we'll be looking at next week, Saturday. Then on Sunday, we would then look at the careers in commercial printing. The careers in commercial printing. Then when we finish looking at the careers in commercial printing, then we would now give a summary of all that we have done. All right. And then we will do other stuffs that needs to be done maybe the following week. So that is what we'll be doing so far. So by next week, I think by Sunday, we would exhaust everything concerning printing technology too. So that is how fast and quick we can do it, so that you have ample time for you to prepare towards your examination. And I would also say that it is an opportunity for you to, venture into it, especially the printing business. So this is where Mohammed can quickly, have the opportunity to buy all the necessary items so that we can, set that business up. And I believe Mohammed today too is not here. Mohammed today too is not here. So I don't know when he will come. All right. So let him know that we have been mentioning his name every second, every moment, just to create the awareness that he has to be.
Listen,
Are you the one?
No, please, I'm not the one. He is Tahir Usman Mohammed, and I'm Usman Mohammed. Tahir.
Yeah. We saw you yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, you chatted with him. You had a
So
chat with him.
yes. I told him to join today. So he told me today he will join, but I actually.
But he didn't come. But today he didn't come. Then eventually he will tell us. But tell him that now opportunities are given for him to buy all the necessary equipment that he can buy, so that he can set up a very beautiful system.
I'm also into printing.
Yeah, so Ransford too is into printing. So you see that it is very lucrative. So
I've
you can
done some work right now whilst we're learning.
All right.
Yeah. But I've
so
learned that I need more.
Right.
My brother, why don't you share it with us? Let's see what you've done.
No, we can.
I can put it on the platform.
Resources. You can do joint venture. And those who want to do joint venture, you can. It's a very nice course that if you really put it into practice, you make money, so that you not depend solely on one profession. That's what we all do for survival, so that is it. All right. So I wish all of us the best and have a very blissful week ahead of you. I wish you well. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, Dave. Hello, Dave.
We are now made the man out to what's on a miss.
Why then?
Pass on me, maybe it's on me, boy.
Maybe it's showing. Why very well?
Sir.
So your man.
Hey, hello.
Hey, maybe it's on him. We are now with
Oh, I actually tell me why. In fact, yesterday after the lectures, I had to go and do a whole lot.
okay.
Parents, why very hot?
Much, yeah.
Sure.
That's what painting is kind of maybe, and I say, boys, yes, go.
Don't worry. Coffee worry, aye. Aye.
Coffee worry. Witchcraft better no. Witchcraft better no.
Shut up.
Boy, sika 7 the style.
Kohu Muhammad, why Muhammad no person to be known in a kabu.
Ga Muhammad ba ko no Ojani o aka Muhammad Usman so no so I know say no aga. Muhammad bi aka Muhammad.
Usman.
I'm not the
Muhammad
one.
bi Muhammad masa.
No. Let's change the name to Tahir because it's Tahir Mohammed. So I'm sure the name is Tahir, not Mohammed.
Muhammad bi Muhammad blah. Yeah, the first me say.
Oh, you want to have that is. That is your problem.